Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest lads debate, which, out of context, I wasn't aware this was meant to be a lads debate video, but here we are. Joined with us is your only mate.
You might not be aware, but we'll show you how real men do it.
And joining with us representing the other person is Shawnee.
Time to put up your dukes, mate. It's time for a last debate I've been really looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm having to now improvise this because I got comments prepared for the Lads Discuss Death Battle, but now I'm going to have to go back. But anyway, so yeah, people, our big old Billy Ween / Halloween Lads debate we did was between the Tank versus Chainsaw Larry, aka Dr. Salvador. Kind of shocking. Chainsaw Larry got actually a few votes in. But overall, the Tank did win by 86%.
Dominated.
With that said, though, the fact there is even one or two people that voted for Chainsaw Larry, he won the people's heart, in my opinion.
One of those is just Billy's alt account.
Thank you, definitely not Bill.com.
It was him bribing someone.
And looking at the comments now for the video, the opening trailer went... This is from YangTheInsane. The opening trailer went too hard for this matchup. Hello, debate, guys, but yeah, Tank takes this. I disagree, but also thank you for complimenting my trailer making. I haven't done one of those since... I'm trying to remember the last Lads debate trailer I'd done for.
Peacemaker versus Punisher.
That was it.
Yeah.
I was still proud of that one. From Tarok, to give Dr. Salvador a little credit, I wanted to check out how fast he could be able to return into the fight and check to speedrun Resident Evil 4, who lasted 1 hour 35 minutes. A measured amount of time between his first two encounters. Turns out, you can encounter him with 1 minute into the game, and he can fully recover and be re-encountered within roughly 11, basically over 2 minutes. With the time frame in mind, it's totally reasonable to assume Chainsaw Larry could return from the dead and go back in a fight quick enough to wear the Tank down. I mean, to be fair, the Tank is okay, here's the thing about, the Tank and Dr. Salvador. Chainsaw Larry's I kind of look at him like a psychopath with, zombie mutated powers. Which, to his credit, he can think a lot better than the Tank. But the Tank is like a gorilla all jacked up. It's like, listen, you can be the smartest man in the room. You're not winning against a gorilla. That's how I kind of view this fight. This is like the world's smartest man versus a gorilla. It's like, yeah, you might have an IQ of 6 or maybe even more. You're not winning. So, and yeah, the healer factor might play a factor, but if Leon S. Kennedy can permanently put down Chainsaw Larry, I don't think the Tank's chances are any lesser.
Yeah.
And final comment from N Mysterious 5062, sick name. Yeah, the Tank flattens Chainsaw Larry. Yeah, I think that's pretty. We all came to that conclusion. Aside the maybe 2 people that voted on the poll.
Dr. Salvador became a pile of pancakes.
Yeah, I mean, he might have a better chance if he had his twin sisters involved, but that's yeah. Just at the end of the day, it was a fun idea. It was stupid, it was funny, and we had fun with it. That's all that mattered.
And it's the second most... It may have been stupid, but it's the second most viewed video of this Lads Debate season.
Yeah, which is quite surprising. I mean, Resident Evil 4 and Left 4 Dead have a pretty dedicated fan base. Although, speaking of dedicated fan base, Sean, care to introduce this matchup? Because I'm too embarrassed to say one of the names.
Well, today we are taking a look at 2 of Persona's craziest and friendliest lightning users in Akihiko Sonata from Team C's versus Kanji Tatsumi of the Investigation Team.
I will admit Kanji already has the better title.
Just saying, I like the Investigation Team way more than C's.
I was about to say, we're taking Persona 3 versus Persona 4, everybody.
Yeah. And how this matchup came to be, well, this isn't the first time we've done a same universe fight, and there's even some same universe fights we've kind of thought about doing. But we just kind of thought, Sean, mate really likes Kanji, Sean likes that guy that I'm too embarrassed to try and pronounce the name of.
It was also just the idea of, I like Persona 3, and Mate really loves Persona 4, so like, best of both worlds.
Yeah, so it's
Remake one Atlas.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, so these two want to represent their favourite Personas as well as their favourite Lightning users of those series, so why not? Give it a whirl. So with that said, Sean, would you like to go first? You have 12 minutes talking about the story, and then, Mate, same for you, and then we'll have a 20-minute debate.
I think I'm ready, yeah.
And 3, 2, 1, shock us with this story.
Lads, in the world of Persona 3, there's more than 24 hours in a day. There is one hidden hour, the midnight hour, where only certain uses are active. The rest get sealed in giant coffins. A group of individuals were selected for a special extracurricular activity in high school. Mitsuru Hirojo recruited the first one, being Akihiko Sanada. Alongside his friend Shinjiro Aragaki, the three were known as the C's for a while. Each member had their own unique fighting style. Shinji preferred the heavy weaponry. Mitsuru was more so about finesse with a rapier. Akihiko preferred boxing.
As well as groping,
not only did he want to fight, well, at least his boxing's a lot better than Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Jesus Christ, what was that?
We had to reference that somehow.
I never watched it.
Well,
Hey,
it turns out Akihiko was...
saved yourself a favour there, mate.
I know.
God damn it, Netflix. God damn it.
First cuties, now this. When will you learn?
Well, it turns out every member of Team C had something in common. They wield a persona. And using an evoker, which literally, you just point the evoker to your head and pull the trigger. The end. Nah, I'm kidding. Akihiko got Polydeucius, a crossbow-wielding persona with the power of lightning. At first, Team C's wasn't very good at navigating through Tartarus due to its ever-changing nature of a maze. Literally, this is a maze that changes every single day. Like a never-ending Rubik's Cube. You just can't ever figure it out. Eventually, when Akihiko became a senior in high school, a new boy moved into town. This would be the Persona 3 protagonist. Most people just call him Makoto. It was through Makoto that he became the new leader of Team C's, and Akihiko eventually joined him after the fight with the first ever shadow that you are well known about. One of the major Arcana shadows, which I believe is the Full Moon Magician Shadow. There it is. Yeah, these Full Moon shadows are based off all the Arcanas in Persona. From the lowest of Magician to the scariest of Death. King C's objective was to figure out what the point of Tartarus was and why there were shadows coming from it. Along the way, Akihiko suffered a tragedy. Remember Shinjiro? Shinjiro tried to save Kenemata from Takaya. Literally the guy who wanted to shoot a child with a handgun. And
Who
Shinjiro
has a visible ribcage.
Yeah, design-wise, it's an interesting choice.
I will say, listen, if you've played Skyrim, you've all wanted to shoot the child at least once.
You're just messed up.
I'm just a realist, Sean.
There is a mod for that, Bill.
You think I don't know that, mate?
I'm just pointing it out.
It was also in an interesting twist. Ken turned out to be someone that Shinjiro kind of had an interaction with before. Okay, long story short, Shinjiro accidentally killed Ken's mother on waking his persona the first time. And never forgave him for that until the very end. And it was in death that Akihiko suffered through something that is scary to deal with everyone in life. Grief and the loss of a best friend. It was through this grief and determination to make sure his sacrifice wasn't in vain that Akihiko, out of Team C's, was the first one to evolve his persona. Yes, they're like Pokemon, sort of.
Just more depressing.
Only personas are based entirely off the soul of emotions, and the crossbow-wielding Polydeucius was no more. Now into the world-holding Caesar. Yeah, that's right. Named after the guy from Rome. And man, was Caesar a big upgrade for Akihiko, allowing Akihiko more power, not just with his lightning, but also more defenses and different abilities. It was through using these personas that they eventually learned the truth of Tartarus, which turned out to be partly created from Nyx, who is the embodiment of death itself. And you know what Akihiko said when people were saying, it's impossible to defeat Nyx? Akihiko was like, I'ma try anyway. Eventually Team Cease became the Nyx, I believe it's the Nyx Destruction Squad or something like that. They vowed to destroy Nyx and end Tartarus and the Midnight Hour once and for all. And on that fateful day of graduation day, Akihiko suffered another tragic loss. This time it was Makoto, who sealed Nyx away permanently, giving his life to preserve a better tomorrow. Akihiko holds the sacrifices of his friends near and dear to him. When asked to do the keys in the Answer DLC, he wanted to preserve the present, to make sure the sacrifices of Shinjiro and Makoto weren't in vain. Wanted their sacrifices to be a reason that they were still going and kept going. But when push comes to shove, Akihiko will always get down and become ready to fight. The man's fought a lot of different people throughout the years. Hell, at one point, he even fought Chie from Persona 4. Don't ask until later. It was through this that Akihiko still works for Mitsuru to this day, and still doesn't give up the fight no matter what's thrown at him. If you're standing and you're in his way and want to harm his friends, prepare for a 1-2 knockout blow, because Akihiko will be the last thing you see before his fists hit your face.
You could end it there, because to be honest, you still got 5 minutes.
Well, that's just part of the story. There's just also a lot of different crossovers, like the time apparently in Persona Q, he met Katone, and Katone thought that was her Akihiko. Yeah, Persona 3 Portable is different, to say the least.
Yeah, Hot Rock was basically realizing that she's not canon.
Oh. That sucks.
Yeah, Atlas does not like the female protag of Persona 3, apparently.
Eesh.
Well, on the plus side, at least Akihiko really cherishes Katone in the Persona 3 Portable timeline, which I think is separate from the main one. It's complicated. They both go basically the same exact story, except Makoto's replaced with Katone. It's complicated. Hell, you know who else they met in Persona Q? The investigation team. How convenient.
It's almost like they're connected to the same universe.
Well, they're in different parts of Japan, oddly enough. Well, the fact that they were all brought there is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, and then Alice in Wonderland, sort of world.
Does anything make sense in Persona? No, absolutely not. But do I like this series? Yes.
I will say the Persona story is more easier to grasp than the freaking MCU multiverse saga. Even Deadpool ripped it apart.
Yeah. Also, I do want to address something in Persona 3 and Persona 3 Reload that is different. They gave Akihiko something else for all of Team C's. It even became a mechanic during his boss fight in Persona 3's the episode I Guess. Where that, if Ken were to fall, he could automatically use this power, basically. He made a promise to his friends to keep an eye on Ken and be a guardian for him. Which I think's really sweet. Every young guy needs someone to look up to, especially when their mother's dead. But as long as the present and the sacrifices show who you are, you won't give up. You'll just keep improving yourself day in, day out. And grief sometimes just makes you realize that. Sure, it sucks, but sometimes acceptance is the key to all answers. And for Akihiko, that is one answer he'll never forget.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cool that Persona has those sort of deep messages, but it's also kind of ruined when the fact you remember they have a penis-looking monster.
Yeah, we don't talk about Mara.
Yes, we do. You just don't see that monster and never acknowledge it. I'm sorry, you just have to.
Well, I think that's where off that terrible monster. I think that's a good spot to end Akihiko's story and analysis.
Indeed. Let's actually talk about the next character who I could definitely say the name of, Kenju. Damn it! No, Kenji. You ready, mate? Are you ready?
Kanji.
Just give me his backstory. You got 12 minutes.
Alright, start the timer.
I've started.
Alright, so, let's go to the country town of Inaba. You know, have a trip down its shopping district, hang out at the megastore Junes, maybe even book a room at the Yamagi Inn and just relax. But there's a little bit more going on in this town, and that being grisly murders. But thankfully, the town had a pretty quiet savior in the form of Yu Narukami, who just moved in when the murders started. Not suspicious at all.
You get it? It's you because it's you.
Sean, at least it's a lot more subtle with its name than being called Player 1 when you make a new Skyrim character.
It's called Prisoner.
Oh, yes, that makes it so much better. Anyway, continue.
Yep. Alright, so after the next would-be victim and Besco, Yukiko, was saved, this new investigation team had to, keep an eye out for any future would-be victims, and the next one just so happened to be Kanji Tatsumi. And I'm just gonna post this in our little chat.
Of course, you're doing this again. I admire the determination.
Now at first glance, you might think Kanji looks like a typical thug. I mean, bleaching his hair, like the piercings, wearing his jacket like a cape, and just basically telling everyone around him to get bent or even beating the crap out of them.
And you would not be wrong, sort of.
But there's a little bit more to Kanji's story than you might think. Well, for one, losing his dad in a hospital. But before he died, his dad told him that a man has to be strong. And that stuck with Kanji and left him sort of confused. Because he wasn't sure what his dad meant. And it wasn't helped by the fact that he was ridiculed at school by guys and girls who would say stuff to him like, and I quote, "What, you like to sew? What a queer! You're a guy? You don't act like a guy. Why aren't you more manly?" Yeah, so that all came from when he encountered his shadow in the TV world. Yeah, it's a different thing in Persona 4 and Persona 5. The collective unconscious, it's weird.
When is anything in Persona not weird?
Good point. Anyway, so after he was saved by the investigation team and accepted this other side of him, he became a part of this squad and dedicated himself to, well, helping his new friends and catching whoever is throwing people in TVs and killing them. And of course, Kanji got a persona himself. I am going to struggle to pronounce the name of it, so I'm not even going to try, but I'm also going to talk about...
It's not so fun, is it?
just how he fights in general. Yeah, of course he's got, like, well, the magic that comes from his persona, I'll get to that later. But melee-wise, Kanji will beat you over the head with a steel chair.
I do like it says
or
practically any blunt object.
Yeah, he'll even beat you with his own bike. And speaking of bikes, before he even joined the investigation team, this young lad beat up an entire biker gang by himself. And it was actually rumored that he became their leader, but that was bullshit. And the whole reason he did that was because, you know, bikes were keeping his mother awake. Yeah. Deep down, Kanji's a bit of a softie and a mama's boy. Though he'll never admit it. Plus, let's be real, we've all had that event where it's like 3 in the morning and we hear a loud motorbike outside.
So instead of yelling at your neighbors, what does Kanji do? Throw a chair at it!
Basically.
I suppose that's one way of telling idiots to sit down.
Yeah. Now, of course, with being a Persona character, of course, he has a persona which does evolve a couple of times. And specifically for this, I'm looking at... I'm gonna actually try and say this. Names on screen, people.
It feels good to not be the only one struggling with names today.
Yeah. And of course, he like has all the lightning magic, he's got some healing, got some buffing, debuffing. Like, he can do all sorts of stuff. And also remind you, well, he's going to show you how a real man does it. And throughout this year, Inaba, helping you and the rest of the investigation team, you know, Kanji's able to, you know, make some friends, open up, like, be his real self, and admit, like, yeah, he likes sewing, he likes cute stuff.
And he likes a certain blue-haired person.
Yes. But he's also helped part in a lot of battles, like defeating the shadow versions of all of his new friends, and even to fighting literal gods. Like Izanami, who started this whole, like, TV world fog-covering thing. Yeah, who is also gonna cover the world in a thick fog and turn all of mankind into shadows. Like, literally merging the real world and TV world together. Not only that, but also aided in finding out, you know, who this murderer was, who might not spoil, just in case. And throughout all of this, Kanji realized what his father's words really meant. He doesn't have to be a macho man. He doesn't have to be, like, jacked, built, play sports, or anything. What a man truly is someone who embraces who he is, what he likes, and gives it his all in anything he does. Whether it be, you know, playing a sport, doing some sewing, being into cars, writing fan fiction, whatever it is that you like to do, embrace it and give it 110%. Because that's what a real man is.
I kind of feel like that last comment about the fanfic was kind of you just venting about something there, mate. Unless there's...
Nah, I was just throwing something out there because it's something I do.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that was it. I was like, I didn't know. I don't know that much about Persona 4 lore, but I definitely don't recall any fanfic writers in Persona 4.
No, I'm just inserting something about myself.
Oh, that's fair enough. Good message, though.
And embracing it just like Kanji does.
Yeah. Is that how you want to end it?
Yeah, just ending it with saying, like, embrace what you like and give it your all. Be like Kanji and be a real man.
Okay, then. Good messages from both characters, to be honest. So because you both had 2 minutes to spare, which that was pretty good. I know there's like a few more seconds on top of that. I'm going to be generous and give you guys 24 minutes to debate this. Actually, we done that for me and Mate last time, so it only seems fair. So, are you both ready for the Persona Showdown?
No.
I think so.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to Persona, can you truly be ready to debate these guys? Alright then, in 3, 2, 1. Persona quote. Now, before you guys actually start debating this, here's my question I want to ask Sean first and then Mate. Sean, what type of character is Akihito? Like, in terms of like RPG character stat-wise, is he like a roguelike character or like a tank sort of like character?
So he has a mix of both support and offensive abilities.
Okay then. And Mate, with Kanji, what type of role does he play?
Similar case, he has a lot of like buffs, debuffs, which he can apply to allies, foes. He can inflict statuses. He can also hit really hard. And of course, comes with the lightning magic and healing.
Okay then, okay. Interesting. Okay, both similar classes. Sometimes in literal cases. Right then, so begin.
This one's an interesting one since they both deal with the craziest.
Yeah, I think more or less stat-wise, we can kind of say they're about equal because, like, yeah, there was like fighting the next avatar and Kanji fighting Izanami. Not to mention them teaming up in crossovers, display them about equal.
There can be cases for that, yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
And
before
of course-
anyone gets, also just for clarification, before anyone gets bitchy, no, I am not going to make an argument saying that Kanji's max persona can't evolve just because it's optional. That wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna throw this out there because I wasn't sure if Sean had found out about it. I believe it's in Persona 4 Arena, like, the two actually fight and Akihiko wins, but for some reason in that game, the Persona 4 cast only have their starting personas. Like, they don't have their evolved ones like the Persona 3 cast do.
Well, that's what the manga's for, apparently.
Which is really weird. So, honestly, it's kind of taking Kanji, like, not his best, so I think it's unfair to use.
Is anyone gonna throw in some arguments for the two?
Well, here's a couple. Some of Akihiko's weapons might be able to affect Kanji in different ways. Like the Jack's gloves, inflicting charm upon Kanji. There's that. Or how about the blood bag of a calf? I don't know how to pronounce the second word, which can inflict poison at a high chance rate.
Yeah, and Kanji can heal from statuses, and I didn't look into his weaponry that much because of I was gonna list all of them, but that was like too long.
Yeah, so both could probably counter each other, and I think both have weapons to increase their already insane stats. But
yeah, they both do.
But I don't believe Kanji's persona is as many defenses as Caesar does, because in the answer, not only is Akihiko immune to lightning damage, he's immune to damage from light and dark abilities.
Right, which Kanji doesn't use.
I wasn't sure if you were giving him items or not, to be fair, so I had to prepare.
If I were giving Kanji items, we'd have to give Akihiko items, and it would just result in, oh, they each have the omnipotent orb. Like, they can't do anything to each other.
Okay, so I just throws that debate out there.
Yeah, so, like, it'd just be an unending stalemate if we did that.
Well, there is something interesting that I remember. Both have taken hits from other lightning users before. Only difference is Kanji actually did suffer lightning damage from Marie in the hot tub scene, whereas Akihiko didn't suffer when fighting Erebus. You know, the embodiment of grief.
Yeah, the difference is that was in the real world, and we don't actually see the point of impact. It could also be thrown off as just a gag. And it's important to remember, Kanji's persona absorbs lightning anyway.
Can Akihito's persona do that, Sean?
Yes, he does.
Okay, then fair enough. So if you hear tapping in the background, that's just me typing on my phone.
That's fair.
Akihiko also has some passive abilities like Pupil, which increases his own critical hit rate. as well as
Yeah,
the sharp
Kanji.
student.
Kanji has stuff
passive.
like that too.
Does he have those specifically?
Not those specifically, but I will say he has Regenerate, which heals him as the fight progresses. Fast Heal, which halves the time needed for recovering from statuses. Dizzy Boost, which just boosts the chance of casting Dizzy on foes. Passive spells that just amp his electric power, and triple his Evasion of Wind.
Wind's not really a case to worry about with these two.
Nah, not really.
Well, there's an interesting argument. I'm not sure, like, if we would allow it, because it's a thing in Persona 3 Reload, and that's Theurgy, which is designed to bypass lightning defenses.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but then I also thought, hang on. Considering, well, that wasn't the original, it was a thing for the remake, yeah?
It was a thing in Persona 3 Reload, yes. Both Caesar and Polyjuice give Akihiko a unique Theurgy.
So, I think it's safe to say that when Persona 4 inevitably gets its remake, when Atlas, the investigation team are gonna get stuff like that too.
Well,
At least I assume.
Well, it turns out Akihiko has fought multiple wild cards before. Not just Erebus, who took the form of Makoto, but he also fought against Aegis. In Persona 3 Heroes, he fought against Joker, technically. That one's weird, I know.
Oh, I actually want to kind of know more about that.
I think it was just the thing is, I think it was Joker was just testing Team C's, so that's why he was there.
Yeah, it's weird. So, this is the thing in Persona 5 as well. You can fight the previous protagonists. But again, they're only using like their base personas. Like, they might switch like a couple different ones. Like, can't really remember. It's been a while since I've done it. And what's also weird about like Makoto fighting Joker is that Joker's like well over a decade in the future. So however the hell that works.
So that does.
Time magic. But
Yeah.
there was one more wild card he did fight, oddly enough. Yuno Rakami, actually. This is in the manga of Persona 4's Arena, which is a different story than its actual video game. Hell, it took Yu's best Persona, Izanagi, just to stop him. And Izanagi does lightning damage. So it took, not even Izanagi's lightning damage could do it, it's just the other bullshit, the almighty abilities to stop Akihiko.
So you're talking Izanagi no Okami?
Yeah. For some reason, every time, like, I even looked it up when I was looking for, just Kanji saying his Persona's name at first for the old trailer. They just shortened it to Izanagi, not say the full part.
Maybe it's just a pain in the ass to say.
It is also possible Akihiko might be faster. Yes, they've both taken big almighty attacks from their gods. The only difference is, even when Nyx constricted gravity, Akihiko was still able to avoid it. So it's possible Akihiko was faster.
Yeah, but I also imagine, like, dodging Lucifer's Morning Star is, like, way faster, and both have kept up with the likes of the Phantom Thieves in Q2, who, you know, do that. So,
Right, hold on.
I think we can say speed's about equal.
Hold on, mate. Now, before we do come to that conclusion, you say we can assume. Do you have any concrete evidence to suggest that they are even? Because from what it sounds like, Akihito, even when gravity was
From what I
restricted,
hear,
was
they're
able
all,
to
like,
move
portrayed
fast.
as equal whenever they do crossovers.
Well,
Like, specifically in the Q games.
Well, I'm just going to pause the timer to make this point. Just because, you know, creators say things about their characters doesn't mean we take it as a fact. Because the creator of both Dante from Devil May Cry and the creator of Bayonetta say Bayonetta should win. Now, keep in mind, this was before Bayonetta 3. I don't know if she's gotten some power boost. But at the time, it's like, well, I would kindly disagree with that. In a similar case with Stan Lee, he says Daredevil's much stronger and has better senses than Spider-Man. That is definitely not true. Now, obviously, different writers, etc., but just because the creators say they're equal doesn't always mean the case. Like, are you really going to tell me Yu is on par with Joker in terms of main character power-wise?
Yeah.
I do not buy that. I could buy, like, you know...
Well, here's something.
But anyway, I'm going to resume timer, so Continue.
Well, I know it's possible for in Persona 4, Kanji has to fight against Yu Narukami in heaven if he's under mind control. So, and well, Sora kind of just negates all the damage from Kanji, if I remember. But still, Kanji has also fought Yu, technically, sort of.
Yeah, it is a possibility that can happen.
But in the fight with Erebus, that was against Makoto, who used all of Team C's personas against Akihiko. Like Caesar. And Caesar did no damage to Akihiko. Keep in mind, the same Caesar who in Reload gives him the lightning bypass effect in Reload, but even in the original, he's still immune to that thunder damage.
Yeah, it's just natural, like, persona, like, immunities and stuff.
I think it comes down to just some key minor, and I mean minor details for Akihiko. For one, better training. He's a trained boxer, an undefeated boxer. Sure, Kanji's tough, and he has been able to do scraps by himself before.
Hey,
training-wise,
remind me when Akihiko had to fight that gang of thugs. Like, was that with Makoto's help?
He asked Makoto if he wanted to help, but still, the fact and the point is, training-wise, Akihiko has it in the bag. He can take advantage of Kanji's mistakes.
So what I was gonna get is that, Akihiko needed help to deal with, like, a group of thugs. Kanji took out an entire biker gang by himself, and that was before awakening to his persona.
Also, experience-wise,
good
while
point,
it may not
Sean.
seem like it, he offered Makoto to help him out to show that what he's learned from being trained together and even sparring partners at one point. Hell, technically speaking, Akihiko has experience using his persona and fighting other persona users more than Kanji does. He's been doing it for at least 2 years longer.
Tell you what, we are reaching like the 12.5-minute mark, so I want to actually ask this quick question to both of you, so I want you to debate this. So, what are like their personas? Yeah, they're lightning users, or electricity, like immune system, but what are their specialities with their personas? Like, you know, what makes them like stand out from each other?
Besides the unique element damage, and of course, you know, Theurgy, because personas reload, technically speaking, Akihiko does have access to an ability called Mega Dalan. You know, an almighty attack? That's not damage Kanji can block. Hell, I don't think anyone can really block it besides freaking wild cards.
Care to counter that, mate?
Well, one of Kanji's specialties is, casting statuses. One such spell is the Man's Way, which can cast Dizzy or just straight up take an opponent down instantly.
Oh,
which would leave him open to an attack like Vile Assault, which deals a lot of physical damage, and it's boosted if the foe is down.
The problem is its accuracy is goddamn terrible, and with Marcus Kanda, Akihiko can just make sure Kanji doesn't hit it all the damn time. Not to mention, that costs a lot of SP. And one thing you're forgetting about Kanji's persona compared to Akihiko's, it uses his HP for a majority of his abilities.
Yeah, which he can passively just regenerate.
Sure, in a team fight that would help because you have supports for Kanji and being able to buff him and heal him over time.
I mean, he just does it automatically.
He did say that at the beginning.
In a fight like this, if a one-on-one, Akihiko's going to outlast Kanji by quite a bit because he uses some HP, but he also uses his magic in SP.
Yeah, also, Sean, one, that applies to Akihiko too. And I was going to bring this up.
Not as much as Kanji.
Let me finish. So rude.
I know.
The whole Vile Assault argument, I don't think you can actually dodge attacks while you're down.
But you know what you can do when you're still down, apparently? Counter, which Akihiko does Counter-Strike. So all that damage could just be reflected right back at Kanji.
Wait,
which he resists.
Wait, you're telling me he plays a video game by Valve when he's injured?
Even if he resists, Akihiko has physical skill up, increasing his physical attacks by 25%. So that resistance isn't going to do that much.
Yeah, I'll do a lot in the long run.
Well, do you know what? Getting back to their personas, how does like Akihito's persona fight, Sean? Like, you know, is it like a ranged fighter? Does it cast like different types of illusions, or I don't know? What does it do? Aside the lightning thing.
See that globe? You see the globe in Caesar's hand? Yeah, it allows him to create those magic abilities at range, or even be able to absorb them with Earthbreaker, which can draw people into Caesar's globe, and Akihiko can follow them and punch him with a straight, and just be completely fine. Straight being a punching term, of course.
Okay then. And so the same question applies to your only mate. What does Kanji's persona like excel at?
Well, as I've been saying, like, lightning and physical skills, also the whole passive regeneration, and inflicting all those statuses, like, yeah, just cast down on him, take advantage of that, and just, you know, keep kicking him while he's down, literally.
Okay.
And there is, like, one thing I have been holding on to, which I think I'm going to hold on to a little bit longer. But do you have any more questions?
No, just continue. I just wanted to take some notes regarding, like, the personas. I thought learning the personas skills could come to, like, fruition when it comes to their abilities they can create.
Yeah, well, I mean, all personas pretty much fight the same. Like, you just pick the magic or the physical skill, they cast it.
Right, I was just more so wanting to know what do the personas really excel at.
Oh, I think we've gone over that a couple times.
Right, okay.
Yeah, think of it like this. Akihiko is very good at close range with his fighting abilities. His long range of Caesar helps him excel to make up for the fact he doesn't have any ranged abilities of his own.
Okay.
Yeah, Kanji's a close quarters fighter too, and his persona doesn't fight in range too. Like,
Can he make up for like his lack of ranged abilities though, like Akihito's?
yeah.
Then elaborate.
Well, like I've been saying, that you pick the magic or the attack, and the persona does it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's just how persona games work.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Oh, you guys got 7 minutes left, so continue.
Akihiko is definitely still no pushover in the long run. With being able to not only lower any critical hit rates passively, being able to punch harder physically, and technically, comparing the two, he might be stronger, or not stronger, I mean faster. Considering Nyx had even restraining gravity on Akihiko, Akihiko still was able to outpace all of Nyx's attacks.
Wasn't that during the cutscene when everyone was about to die until Makoto just went, nah, I win?
That was because Nyx was on her last legs and had to do something, becoming the embodiment of death. And hell, remember Chie? Yeah, they fought again in Persona 4 Arena, and Akihiko won.
Okay, and just how powerful is what was her name again?
Chie is able to kick people to the moon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she's able to kick people into space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Akihiko
Should be noted that, like,
That-
I believe her and she and Kanji are pretty comparable. Like, I might have to like, look into who's like strongest stat-wise, but I don't really rely on those sorts of things.
Still, despite the fact they're comparable, Akihiko was able to beat Chie, and that's about calculating the 25% physical attack buff.
Right, and what persona did Chie have?
I can't pronounce hers, unfortunately.
Right, but was it her fully evolved persona or one of the lesser ones?
I believe it was the fully evolved one, because of
The one from
manga.
Persona 4 Golden?
I believe so, because of the whole manga crossover with Persona 4 Arena.
Alright, guys,
I don't
5
know,
minutes.
just have a...
No, another thing is that, again, there are abilities that they have that they can both resist, but Kanji can't resist the almighty damage that Akihiko has, And even if you think he could hit him with that powerful attack, Akihiko has ways to make sure Kanji's not hitting as often as he can. While also lowering his physical attack stat as well.
Yeah, Kanji can do that to Akihiko too.
If he can hit him.
Alright, well, I might as well say the thing I've been holding on to. We can keep throwing out, like, oh, so here's the strength stat, here's, like, the... whatever, but let's take a page out of Death Battle's book with Skyrim vs. Dark Souls and look at the lore and why I believe no matter what argument, Akihiko just doesn't challenge the gap in power. Well, yeah, the Seas personas all evolve. Kanji's evolves twice. So, naturally, would just be on a higher echelon of power.
Oh, interesting.
That, combined with the fact he can just passively regenerate any damage he takes as the fight progresses. There's all the status it inflicts he can do, which even his attacks take advantage of. Also healing from any time Akihiko tries to electrocute him, which, yeah, Akihiko can do that too, but whatever.
Yes.
I feel like I have more to go off that anyway.
And as I pointed out, it was Chihei's fully evolved persona, the same person whose persona also revived twice for Kanji. And yes, Akihiko beat her. And you said in your notes that they are comparable. But by that logic, Akihiko was stronger than both Chie and Kanji. It really just comes down to a few differences, honestly, with these two. Like, the almighty attack's gonna be something Kanji can't defend from. I still
No, but you can heal
big...
it, like, easy. But literally, just as the fight happens, he just continuously heals.
And even then, as the fight goes on, Kanji's abilities are gonna drain him faster and faster of his HP.
That's not an ability that drains him, it's just an automatic thing.
I meant his other abilities.
Right, but you said it like, oh, well, his passive healing is just going to drain on it. No, it doesn't work like that. That's what you made it sound like.
I didn't mean to make it sound like, but that's not what I was going for.
That's fine, you're forgiven this time.
For
Does
now.
Kanji have either power charge or...
I believe, like, pretty much every Persona character has stuff like that.
I tell you what, we're down to our last 2 minutes. I've come to a conclusion. So, Sean, do you want to make a final case for Akihito? Well, he's gone now, people. Well, I guess the winner's your only mate.
Yay.
Sean, are you there?
By default. Default.
Fix that problem.
Okay, then. Anyway, back to the video. Sean, do you want to do the... I'm going to just go back to the 2-minute timer. Do you want to have 1 minute to represent Akihito? I feel like I've gotten better at saying his name.
Akihiko, yeah.
Alright, you got 1 minute, Sean.
Despite how close this fight is, there are tiny advantages that give Akihiko the win. His training is better than Kanji's, not to mention he has been doing this longer, and he theoretically is stronger than both him and Chie, thanks to fighting her in Persona 4's arena. Oh no, it's just that it's going to be a long war of attrition, but thanks to his potential faster speed, as well as the possible power advantage, it's only a matter of time until Akihiko lands that one fatal blow that Kanji's not going to be getting up from.
Is that what you want to end on? Still got half a minute?
Shouldn't I do a thing as well?
Yeah, no, I was going to give you a minute as well.
Of course,
okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Alright then, Your Honor, mate, you got 1 more minute to make a final case. Go.
Okay, so let's be real. They can all do pretty much like the same stuff, like absorb lightning, cast buffs and debuffs. They should be about as fast as each other, like no matter how many like counter comparisons we do. So those will cancel each other out. I just think Kanji, like lore-wise, should be stronger. Yes, you bring up the whole Chie thing, but one, Kanji isn't Chie. And there's all the status things the Kanji can keep inflicting, like down, and just keep laying down the punishment, and his passive healing will just enable him to keep the fight going longer.
Alrighty then, so that's where you're ending it on.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a good quip to end on, but I couldn't think of one.
That's fine.
Be a real man and make your own.
God damn it, he one-ups us all the time, mate. We can't keep allowing this for next year. Look, to quote Jesse from Breaking Bad, he can't keep getting away with this. Right then, so going through my notes here, I went a bit not as big as I expected it, to be honest, compared to like Katara versus Rain. But speaking of Katara versus Rain, this one's kind of an interesting one, because on first glance when you look at these two characters, I naturally assumed Akihito's kind of like a faster mover, and Kanji is like, you know, the heavy hitter, so it's like, okay. But let's break down things that I think they're even on, to just cancel things out. First of all, their personas. Realistically, I don't really think one has the advantage of the other, compared to like what you guys have told me about the characters. Of course, that could be changed, because I'm just going by what you guys have said of these two regarding persona lore. So, really, I can't say which persona is better, because, as Mate's pointing out, really any persona is as useful as depend on the items you give them. So for that, the personas are tied. And in a similar case, same with their items, because you could give them either instant win cons, but you could also give them ways to counter that. You can give one a way to put status on, but many of these two just have ways to either use an item to counter it, or even just, well, by themselves are able to counter it. So, really, items and status abilities are pretty much the same. Like, one really doesn't have the advantage of the other.
Are you implementing the whole, like, Death Battle 5 categories thing?
No, I'm just going by, like, you know, things they kind of just tie out on.
He thinks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, it sounded like the whole, like, 5 categories thing, and I thought, that's actually a neat approach.
Okay, that wasn't intentional. I was just kind of going by like how I did Katara versus Ray. Just looked at what I think is like really the main attribute on this. But hey, to be fair, we did this before Death Battle started doing it officially. We're not copying. This is our thing. Okay, so yeah, like personas, items, and even status abilities, neither really has an advantage. Like, so really, what I think this comes down to is, well, the actual character themselves. Now, Mate did bring up a good point about Kanji. While Akihiko might be skilled in terms of fighting, like maybe better trained, Kanji is self-taught, which, you know, just because someone's self-taught doesn't mean they're lesser than someone who has been trained on it. So, Akihito has beaten up like a group of people before, but of course, you can make the argument he needed help. Kanji, on the other hand, managed to beat up a bunch of bikers. Now, yes, a group of bikers, we don't really know what their combat training is or experience, but let's just assume both their opponents were like street thugs, like no prior training, they're just kids just being rude boys, as we Londoners would say. I will have to say, in terms of like that, I will have to give that to Kanji because, well, he's clearly had moments of fighting by himself. However, the next part of this is in terms of like their skills in combat in their other worlds. I can't remember the names for each of them because they're apparently different. That one...
it's the same thing, the collective unconscious.
Yeah. Akihito, unlike Kanji, has shown that he is much more skilled in using like his statuses to more offensively and defensively, as well as he has more ranged abilities to get close to Kanji, whereas Kanji doesn't really have that. He does take it with the, you know, having a passive ability to just heal. Now, what to the extent that is, and how broken it is, I'm just going by your words. It seems like it can be reliable, but it just seems as though it's kind of stalling, which given Akihito's, like, threats he has to face, it really doesn't matter because he can easily wear down the opponent no matter how much they try and delay the fight. So, for the final conclusion, the winner I'm giving this to is Akihito, or Akihiko.
Woo!
I had a feeling you would.
The reason for that, and this
close.
is my final point, one, Kanji is pretty strong. However, thanks to what you and Sean have said, mate, Akihito has not only canonically beaten these characters, he's faced characters on a similar level as Kanji. Now, yes, you could argue, well, Kanji surely fought characters on a similar level as Akihiko, yes, but from what it sounds like, Akihiko just seems to have more experience dealing with foes like Kanji. But this fight was not easy to conclude, like, because if we just threw out, like, you know, taking out what they got in terms of items, they're pretty much dead even, so it really just came down to the actual person themselves and not their personas.
I mean, if we gave them items and they both had the omnipotent orb, then there would just be an unending stalemate.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like, realistically, their personas, their items, status abilities really just did not play a factor in this fight. All they'd be doing was just throwing, like, they'll just be throwing, it's like they're pretty much shadow boxing, really. Like, it's like that scene from SpongeBob with SpongeBob Patrick trying that fight in school.
Basically,
that's how I viewed it when applying their stats and personas. But really just came down to the actual, well, kids themselves. And from what sounds like Kanji, I see is more good at fighting by himself. But just overall, I just feel like Akihiko can outlast the fight and has more ways of getting in close and finishing the fight.
Also, I just wanted to say, I wanted to try to prove Akihiko wins about Theurgy, because Theurgy's bullshit.
But you know what?
Seriously, if you have an attack that can negate lightning resistance and lightning healing from that, yeah, that's bullshit.
I will say, just hearing about these two does make me want to play both their games, so who knows, maybe I'll actually eventually play them. I say to the backlog
buy both three.
I say to the backlog of all these games, I said, yeah, I'll totally play.
To be fair, you can buy Persona 3 and Golden in like a bundle together.
That is true. But yeah, you know what, guys, this is actually a pretty good fight, even though I'm not really that familiar with these two characters. They sound pretty cool, the games sound really cool, and even their stories, you know, they actually go through some really deep moments, so who knows, maybe I'll actually finally pick up Persona. Maybe I'll actually have my own opinion on it. With that said, though, I think it's time to reveal what our big old finale is for this year. And I am both excited to do this because it's a rematch episode, and if you know when we hinted about the Pokemon in the last episode, we are doing Heracross versus Scizor, the rematch.
Il has begged for this match so many times.
Well, now, rather than just repeating things and maybe not just include things we didn't bring out last time, we are giving them both everything. With reason. For instance, we're not going to bother with Gigantamaxes or whatever the crystallization thing was in Scarlet and Violet.
Crystallization.
Yeah, because one, those are boring. They're a poor man's Mega Evolution. But on top of that, they're getting their Mega Evolutions and they're getting everything. Any move they can learn, from breeding, through just anything, whatever they can learn, we're giving it to them.
There's actually a point the Death Battlecast brought up that you can find Pokemon in the wild that have like egg moves or TM learned moves.
Yep. So that's it, people.
So,
we are taking Heracross and Scizor at their peak. So stick around for that, and yeah, I look forward to finally settling that debate. I will give Scizor justice. Trust me,
Mate, if you say it's a tie again, that'll be the funniest thing.
I mean, given how a certain Pokemon lasted in his Nuzlocke Let's Play, I have doubts if he's going to choose the right Pokemon.
Hey, you made it to the league.
And he did.
Why did you put him up against Rick, mate? Why?
I blame you for that because you're the one who named it that.
Anyway, so yes, this is a good episode, and people, what do you think about Kanji versus Akihiko? I'm pretty sure I've said his name like 30 different times. Each one of them is wrong.
You said it right that time.
Yay! The final one was correct! Suck it, Akuku Huckle, damn it!
Also, I genuinely am curious what you guys think of same series ideas like this one.
Yeah, because we've thrown some ideas about like doing same. I just realised we're doing 2 same universe fights back to back. I just realised that.
I hope you folks like it.
But yeah, we're ending this year as well as this season, Lads Debate, with the one that started it all. What was just 2 guys having an argument in a private Discord server, and now that's how we're ending it this year. With all that said and done, be sure to share this video around, keep the channel growing, and let us know who you think wins this fight. And let us know who you think is going to win in the next one. Farewell, everybody.
Also, can I throw out something?
Sure.
Alright. So my 10-year anniversary on YouTube is coming up. There's a video on my channel. I need to repeat this here. If there's a clip from any video I've made or I'm in, clip it via the YouTube feature and leave it in the comments of the Help Me Celebrate 10 Years video. At some point in the new year, I will do a big reaction to all of them. So if you want your clip used, provide the link to the clip.
You people should have watched the video, because I did. I'm still trying to find a clip to send him.
And just happy 10 years to me.
Well, we're not there quite yet, but thank you.
Sean, do you have anything you want to add for your channel? You might as well do that for this outro.
Not really anything to plug other than I'm so close to 500 and I don't know if, and hopefully I reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't know yet. But I just want to end the video off saying, GG mate, this was fun, and I genuinely do think it could go either way with these two.
Farewell, everybody.
Bye.
Why could you protect Sizzle from guillotine?